In a world that often demands conformity, the most audacious act you can undertake is to be unapologetically yourself. How much of your true essence have you hidden beneath layers of expectation and approval? Within these pages lies an exploration of authenticity that beckons you to confront the shadows of self-doubt and societal judgment. Here, you will embark on a journey that challenges the status quo and seeks to unveil the vibrant, unrefined you, the version you've buried for far too long. Are you ready to uncover who you really are? Be Authentically You, discover and express your true self, written and published by Silent Validity. Lesson 1. Embrace your true identity. The journey toward embracing your true identity begins with a simple yet profound realization. The quest for external validation often obscures the path to self-discovery. Many individuals mistakenly believe that their worth is contingent upon the approval of others. This belief flourishes in a culture saturated with comparison, where likes, comments, and accolades serve as the currency of self-esteem. Psychologically, this dependence on external validation stems from a fundamental desire to belong and be accepted. When individuals tie their self-worth to how others perceive them, they inadvertently place their happiness in the hands of those around them. This can lead to a perpetual cycle of anxiety and dissatisfaction, as external validation can be fleeting and inconsistent. Consider the story of Maria, a talented artist who silenced her passion for painting to pursue a career in finance. Throughout her college years, she observed how her peers lauded success in the corporate world, often sidelining creative pursuits. Each time she stifled her artistic expression and embraced a more conventional path, Maria felt a gnawing emptiness within her. The accolades she received for her academic success offered momentary satisfaction, yet they were overshadowed by the longing to create. This internal conflict exemplifies the emotional toll of seeking validation outside oneself, as it not only hinders personal growth but also encourages the denial of one's authentic self. Imagine the scenario where a young woman, Lily, attends a social gathering. As she scans the room, she becomes acutely aware of the conversations around her, weighing her worth against the opinions of those in attendance. In an attempt to gain approval, she curtails her true interests and engages in discussions that don't resonate with her. While she may momentarily feel accepted in the group, she goes home feeling hollow, as if she had worn a mask all night. This experience illustrates the emotional disconnect that arises from prioritizing approval over authenticity. Embracing your true identity requires peeling back the layers of societal expectations and reconnecting with your core values, interests, and passions. It's about acknowledging that your worth is inherent, not determined by external opinions. To begin this transformative journey, reflect on the moments in your life when you felt most genuine and alive. What were you doing? Who were you with? These memories are invaluable touchstones that can guide you toward understanding your true self. It is vital to recognize that embracing your identity isn't a momentary decision. It's an ongoing practice that encourages continual reassessment and growth. The realization that you are not merely a product of others' expectations is liberating. Each time you choose to honor your true self, you dismantle the facade you've constructed for others. This act of authenticity can be uncomfortable, as it often elicits resistance from those accustomed to a version of you that seeks to please. However, remember that the only path to genuine fulfillment is through self-acceptance, which allows you to shine brightly in a world that desperately needs your authentic light. Embrace this journey with an open heart and mind, and you will uncover the depth of your true identity, paving the way for a more meaningful existence. To begin recognizing and stopping the behavior of seeking external validation, first, it's essential to cultivate self-awareness. Start by journaling your thoughts and feelings about your interactions with others. When do you find yourself craving approval? Are there specific situations or people that intensify this urge? By identifying patterns in your behavior, you can gain insight into moments when your sense of self-worth becomes contingent on external recognition. Psychological research emphasizes that self-awareness is a critical step in changing behaviors. It lays the groundwork for developing healthier habits. Once you have pinpointed these moments, it is time to implement mindset shifts that can empower you. Challenge the belief that your value is tied to others' opinions. Reframe your perspective by acknowledging that every individual has a unique path, and the beauty of life lies in its diversity. Consider the inspiring story of Jason, who struggled to find his voice as a writer because he constantly sought validation through popularity. After embracing the mindset that his words had intrinsic value, he shifted his focus from seeking approval to creating for the sake of expression. This change not only improved his writing, but also enriched his life, as he found joy in the process itself. Independent of external accolades, engaging in real-world challenges can further solidify these strategies. One effective exercise is to set aside time each week to pursue an activity solely for your enjoyment, without regard for outside approval. This could be painting, writing, or volunteering, whatever resonates with you most. As you partake in this activity, notice your initial feelings of self-doubt and the gradual liberation that follows. Document these experiences in your journal, reflecting on how freeing it feels to create for yourself rather than an audience. Additionally, it's helpful to find a supportive community that celebrates authenticity. Seek out groups or online platforms where sharing your journey is encouraged. Engaging with like-minded individuals can fortify your resolve and provide a safe space for self-expression. The power of community in reinforcing your commitment to authenticity cannot be overstated. Research illustrates that social support is essential for personal growth, as it provides encouragement, validation, and constructive feedback, grounded in genuine understanding. To conclude this lesson, remember that the process of embracing your true identity is not a destination, but a continuous journey. The effort you invest in recognizing and dismantling the need for external validation is foundational for personal development. It offers a profound sense of liberation that allows you to live authentically and make choices that resonate with your true self. As we prepare to move on to the next lesson, break free from external approval. Ponder the ways in which your quest for validation might still subtly influence your interactions. What would your life look like if you allowed yourself to exist beyond the confines of others' perceptions? In the upcoming lesson, we'll delve deeper into the strategies for liberating yourself from these societal shackles. Remember to engage with our community, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on your own journey toward authenticity. Your insights can inspire others to take their first steps as well. Lesson 2. Break free from external approval. The pervasive need for external approval can act like an invisible chain, shackling us to the opinions of others and stifling our true potential. At the core of this behavior lies an almost instinctual desire to be accepted, rooted deep in our evolutionary makeup, where belonging to a group meant survival. This need for acceptance continues to influence our actions and choices, often leading us into a web of conformity that disconnects us from our authentic selves. Seeking validation becomes both a comfort and a curse, as it provides temporary affirmation while ultimately sapping our self-worth and independence. Understanding why we gravitate toward the approval of others is crucial. Mistrust of our own judgment frequently cultivates this dependency, leaving us vulnerable to outside influences that dictate our decisions and behaviors. For instance, consider the story of Alex, a promising musician. Throughout his career, he became fixated on accumulating social media followers and industry accolades. Every time he received negative feedback or criticism, his artistic spirit dimmed, as he second-guessed the very essence of his talent. This relentless need for external validation resulted in music that no longer resonated with him, ultimately robbing him of the joy that once accompanied his craft. In many situations, the behaviors associated with seeking external approval manifest in subtle but powerful ways. Think about Sarah, a dedicated employee who consistently overextends herself, striving for recognition from her superiors. Out of a desire to be seen as indispensable, she frequently works late hours and sacrifices personal time. Instead of enjoying her accomplishments, Sarah becomes acutely aware of her colleagues' successes and begins to compare herself against them. This pattern perpetuates a cycle of self-doubt and competition, overshadowing her achievements and leading to burnout. Sarah's experience illustrates the emotional cost of striving for validation, highlighting how it can distort our relationships and diminish our satisfaction. The impact of seeking validation is not merely personal. It affects our interactions, our choices, and even our sense of self. Research indicates that individuals who rely heavily on external approval often experience heightened anxiety and a lack of fulfillment. As they navigate life through the lens of others' opinions, they may find themselves trapped in a perpetual game of catch-up, endlessly seeking the next accolade or approval, rather than focusing on what truly brings them joy. Escaping this trap requires a deep examination of the beliefs that underpin our hiring for acceptance. It demands an honest confrontation with our fears and insecurities, allowing us to recognize the narratives we've constructed around our self-worth. As the journey unfolds, it becomes possible to untangle feelings of inadequacy from the demanding social expectations that have long dictated our behavior. By questioning the validity of external validation, we create a necessary space for inner reflection and discovery. In this part of the lesson, you've begun to uncover the hidden truths about the pervasive need for external approval. Acknowledging these realities is the first step toward liberation. Now, as we move forward, prepare to explore the tangible strategies to break free from these barriers in the next part of our lesson. Reflect on your own experiences and how they might resonate with Alex, Sarah, or countless others navigating the complexities of seeking approval. To begin breaking free from the behavior of seeking external approval, it's essential to first cultivate a heightened awareness of moments when this tendency arises. Identifying situations that trigger your need for validation can provide crucial insight into your coping mechanisms. One effective strategy is to maintain a daily journal where you can document experiences that provoke a craving for approval. Reflect on how these situations make you feel and the subsequent actions you take to gain affirmation from others. Psychological studies emphasize the importance of self-reflection in fostering self-awareness, as recognizing patterns empowers you to interrupt the cycle of dependency on external validation. In tandem with journaling, consider adopting a new perspective on the concept of approval itself. Rather than viewing validation as a necessary component of your self-worth, reframe it as a reflection of someone else's opinion, an opinion that does not hold the power to define you. This shift in mindset can liberate you from the constraints of judgment. For example, take a look at Nina, a designer who spent years adjusting her creative vision based on what her clients wanted. After reflecting on the meaning of true satisfaction, she began to focus on projects that resonated with her artistic identity, regardless of the external feedback. By prioritizing her own values over outside opinions, Nina not only revitalized her creativity, but also found fulfillment and significance in her work. Engaging in actionable exercises can further support this mindset shift. One practical challenge involves committing to a 1-week approval fast. During this period, consciously abstain from seeking validation through social media, gossip, or office dynamics. Instead, redirect your focus towards understanding and affirming your own values and strengths. Designate time each day for self-reflection, or engage in activities that allow you to express your individuality without the influence of external opinions. For instance, create art, write, or engage in conversations about topics you're passionate about, simply for the joy of expression. In doing so, you cultivate a greater sense of self-trust, reinforcing the idea that your worth is not contingent upon the opinions of others. Furthermore, developing a mantra can act as a powerful reminder of your intrinsic value. Create a phrase that resonates with you, such as, "I am enough, just as I am," or "My worth is inherent." Repeat this mantra daily, especially during moments when you feel the urge to seek external validation. Research in the field of positive psychology highlights the effectiveness of affirmations in reshaping self-perception and fostering resilience against external pressures. As you work through these strategies, remember that breaking free from the habit of seeking approval is an ongoing journey. It involves continual self-examination and perseverance, as old habits can be deeply ingrained. Ultimately, embracing your authentic self and silencing the need for validation will pave the way for deeper connections and a more fulfilling life. In our forthcoming lesson, we will delve into the intricacies of silencing the inner critic, a critical step in nurturing self-acceptance and courage. As you reflect on your own experience with external approval, consider how your perception of yourself might shift when you begin to tackle that inner voice. Don't forget to engage with our community by liking, subscribing, and sharing your insights on your journey thus far. Your experiences can empower others to take their first steps toward authenticity as well. Lesson 3. Silence the inner critic. The loudest voice in your life can often be your own, whispering doubts and fears that stifle your potential and suppress your authenticity. Silence your inner critic, and you begin to unlock doors to self-acceptance and growth that you never knew existed. This critical inner dialogue, a product of internalized societal expectations and past experiences, manifests as an incessant commentary that questions your worth and abilities. Understanding the psychological foundations of this self-sabotaging behavior is essential for dismantling its grip on your life. At its core, the inner critic thrives on fear. Fear of inadequacy, fear of failure, and fear of judgment create a breeding ground for negative self-talk. This voice often emerges in response to external situations where validation feels conditional. Consider Emily, a talented public speaker who, despite her capabilities, was paralyzed by the thought of presenting in front of a crowd. Each time she stepped onto the stage, her inner critic would erupt with a barrage of disparaging remarks. "You don't know enough? What if they laugh at you? And you will never be as good as the others." This internal dialogue not only impacted her performance but also eroded her self-esteem and passion for speaking. Recognizing the contexts in which your inner critic becomes most vocal is crucial. People often fall into this trap during high-stakes situations, such as job interviews, public presentations, or important social interactions. Interactions in environments where competition is palpable can amplify the inner critic. Think about Jake, a budding entrepreneur who frequently compares himself to more established peers. Every time he pitches his business idea at networking events, he hears the relentless voice of self-doubt, questioning the value of his concept. Instead of celebrating his unique perspective, Jake becomes fixated on the fear of not measuring up. The emotional toll of succumbing to your inner critic can be profound. Research indicates that the detrimental effects of negative self-talk not only diminish self-confidence, but can also lead to increased anxiety and depression. As you find yourself caught in this cycle of self-criticism, it becomes paramount to acknowledge these harmful thoughts for what they are: distortions that undermine your true self. The more you listen to this critical voice, the greater the risk of retreating into patterns of compliance and inauthenticity, perpetuating the need for external validation. To confront the inner critic, you must first cultivate self-awareness. Begin by noticing when this voice arises, and instead of engaging with it, practice detachment. One effective approach is to label the critic as an entity separate from yourself, a negative roommate who does not truly understand your worth. Challenge the validity of its claims by asking, is this thought based on evidence or fear? As you engage with this process, reflect on the moments when you felt proud of your accomplishments. These memories stand in stark contrast to the unfounded criticisms, serving as reminders of your capabilities. In the journey to silence the inner critic, you are not merely embarking on a fight against negativity, you are rekindling a relationship with yourself, grounded in kindness and acceptance. It is crucial to recognize that the first step toward reclaiming your narrative is acknowledging the existence of this inner voice and choosing not to let it define your self-worth. As you embark on this path, remember that understanding your true essence requires introspection and courage, as well as a willingness to challenge the limiting beliefs that have shaped your past. As we prepare to delve deeper into strategies for overcoming this self-critical voice in the next segment, consider how liberating it would feel to embrace your strengths without hesitation. The upcoming lesson will guide you through actionable steps to help you dismantle this oppressive mindset. Don't forget to participate in our community. Share your insights, like, and subscribe. Your engagement is a powerful contribution to the collective journey towards authenticity. To effectively silence the inner critic, it is essential to implement strategies that foster self-compassion and resilience. Start by creating a clear awareness of when this negative voice surfaces. One effective method is to keep a log of your critical thoughts. Each time you catch yourself engaging in negative self-talk, write down the thought along with the context in which it arose. This practice not only helps you identify patterns, but also allows you to recognize triggers that provoke the inner critic. According to psychological research, journaling can significantly enhance self-awareness and provide clarity on the emotions driving your thoughts. Adopting a mindset shift is crucial in countering the influence of the inner critic. Instead of viewing yourself through a lens of deficiency, reframe your self-perception to recognize your inherent worth. This requires a conscious decision to be kinder to yourself. One approach is to replace negative thoughts with affirming statements. For instance, if your inner critic shouts, "You always mess things up," counter it with, "I am learning and growing, and mistakes are part of that process." The power of positive affirmations stems from cognitive behavioral therapy, which aims to reshape negative thinking patterns and promote more balanced self-assessments. Engaging in exercises that encourage self-acceptance can also help dismantle the inner critic's authority. Challenge yourself with the 3 good things exercise, where you write down 3 positive aspects about yourself each day. This practice nurtures an upward spiral of self-esteem by reinforcing your accomplishments and qualities. You may draw inspiration from Jared, who, once held back by self-doubt, began documenting 3 achievements daily. As he frequently returned to these entries, he realized the extent of his abilities and gradually diminished the hold of his inner critic. This exercise exemplifies how small, consistent practices can lead to significant shifts in identity and self-regard. Another impactful method for silencing the inner voice is to visualize your inner critic and transform it into a character. By personifying this critic, you create separation between yourself and that negative narrative. This technique allows you to challenge and confront the inner critic more effectively. For instance, visualize it as a cartoon figure or an eccentric character that exaggerates your flaws. When faced with criticism, respond to this character with logic and compassion. You could say, "Thank you for sharing your thoughts, but I choose to focus on the positives today." This creative shift in perspective destabilizes the inner critic's grip on your consciousness. As you work through these strategies, remember that silencing the inner critic is not a one-time fix. It is a continuous process that requires diligence and patience. Each time you counter self-doubt with self-affirmation, you fortify your ability to embrace your identity free of judgment. This transformative journey empowers you to reclaim your narrative, positioning you as the author of your own story rather than a passive observer. As we transition to our next lesson, where we will explore how to build trust in yourself without the shadow of fear, reflect on your progress. What insights have you gained about your inner dialogue? Anticipate how embracing self-trust will further bolster your authenticity. Don't forget to engage with our community, like and subscribe, and share your thoughts or personal experiences on confronting your inner critic. Your contributions not only validate your journey, but also inspire others looking to embark on their paths toward self-acceptance. Lesson 4. Trust yourself without fear. In a world filled with distractions and competing opinions, the most radical act of self-empowerment is nurturing unwavering trust in yourself. Trusting yourself is not merely a nice-to-have trait, it is the cornerstone of authentic living. Yet countless individuals find themselves paralyzed by doubt and external pressures. This reluctance to trust our own instincts stems from a psychological landscape littered with fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not being enough. These fears conspire to create a cycle of self-doubt that can be difficult to escape. The emotional roots of this behavior often lie in early experiences where our beliefs were shaped by external validation. As children, many of us instinctively learn to seek approval from parents, teachers, and peers. When our choices received affirmation, we internalize those responses as validation of our worth. However, as we transitioned into adulthood, this ingrained behavior can morph into a crippling dependency on outside feedback. For example, take the story of Lily, a talented writer who often second-guessed her work. Each time she submitted a piece for publication, she would wait anxiously for external validation, believing that only others' approval could determine the quality of her writing. This crippling reliance not only stifled her creativity, but also created a paralyzing fear of rejection that kept her from sharing her unique voice. People frequently fall into the trap of undermining their judgment in situations demanding decisiveness, like starting a new career path, making relationship choices, or even choosing what to wear. Imagine Tom, who finds himself drowning in opinions every time he contemplates a significant life decision. Instead of relying on his instincts, Tom seeks advice from friends, family, and even social media influencers. Each piece of advice complicates his thought process further, leading to a state of confusion and self-doubt. Here, his inability to trust himself not only results in delayed decisions, but also diminishes his confidence in his capacity to evaluate what is best for him. The emotional consequences of failing to trust yourself are extensive and can lead to chronic dissatisfaction, anxiety, and a sense of unfulfillment. Research shows that individuals who lack self-trust often contend with heightened stress levels and a sense of helplessness, as their agency becomes compromised by the weight of others' opinions. The high stakes of decision-making can produce a paralyzing fear that convinces us to seek validation from any possible source, ultimately leaving us disconnected from our own values and desires. To change this dynamic, one must begin by acknowledging that self-trust is a skill that can be cultivated. The path to building it starts with small, intentional commitments to oneself. To begin, reflect on moments when you listened to your instincts and honor those experiences. What were the outcomes? Even if they were less than perfect, recognizing instances where your intuition guided you can serve as a strong reminder of your ability to trust yourself. As you illuminate these truths, you will start to dismantle the fears that have shackled your self-trust. Understand that your instincts are informed by your values, experiences, and insights. Embrace the notion that you are resilient enough to navigate both success and failure, and both are critical in shaping who you are. Trusting yourself means acknowledging that imperfections are part of the journey, not a reason for self-judgment. As we move into the next part of this lesson, you will discover actionable steps to further solidify your self-trust and quiet the noise that often leads to self-doubt. Reflect on your relationship with decision-making and how it reflects your capacity to trust yourself. Engage with our community by liking, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts on this journey towards self-trust. Your insights can encourage others to embark on their transformative path as well. To cultivate trust in yourself and diminish the influence of external opinions, it is vital to implement key strategies that empower your decision-making capabilities. Start by creating a habit of self-reflection. Allocate a few moments at the end of each day to evaluate the choices you made and the reasons behind them. Ask yourself questions such as, what motivated my decisions today? Or, how did I feel about the outcomes? This practice encourages you to connect with your own thoughts and feelings, reinforcing the idea that your judgments are valid and worthy of consideration. Psychological studies indicate that self-reflection can enhance self-awareness and confidence, leading to more decisive actions in the future. A critical mindset shift involves reframing mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures. When you make a decision and the outcome does not align with your expectations, resist the urge to castigate yourself. Instead, recognize that every misstep contributes to your personal growth. For instance, consider the case of Sarah, an aspiring chef who once made a disastrous dish for a dinner party. Initially, she felt defeated and questioned her culinary skills. However, upon reflecting on the experience, Sarah decided to analyze what went wrong, leading her to experiment with new techniques and ultimately creating dishes that showcased her unique style. This shift from viewing mistakes as failures to embracing them as valuable lessons not only bolstered her confidence, but also ignited her passion for cooking once more. Engaging in practical exercises designed to solidify self-trust can also yield significant benefits. One effective exercise is to maintain a decision diary. Whenever you have to make a choice, whether big or small, document your thought process, the decisions you ultimately made, and the subsequent outcomes. Over time, this diary will reveal patterns in your decision-making, helping you recognize successful choices that originated from your instincts. This method aligns with psychological research, affirming that documenting experiences enhances self-trust and clarifies thought processes. Another powerful tactic is to practice the trust your gut approach. Begin to notice your intuitive feelings about situations. Take small risks by acknowledging your instincts in low-stakes scenarios, such as choosing a restaurant or resolving a minor conflict. As you become accustomed to following your intuition in these examples, your confidence in making larger decisions will naturally evolve. The story of David illustrates this well. After years of second-guessing every career move, he decided to trust his instincts by pursuing a job opportunity that felt aligned with his passions, despite it being an untraditional path. This leap resulted in a role that not only fulfilled him professionally, but also reignited his joy for work. Self-trust is an ongoing journey, but every step you take toward nurturing it bolsters your capacity to navigate life with confidence and authenticity. The act of recognizing your instinctual wisdom is liberating, allowing you to reclaim your capacity to make sound choices based on who you truly are. As we prepare for the next lesson, where we will explore setting boundaries with confidence, an essential component of sustaining self-trust, reflect on your experiences of making decisions based on your instincts. How can these decisions reinforce your sense of self and validate your experiences? Be sure to engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts. Your insights can serve as powerful testimony for others seeking to build their trust in themselves while navigating life's complexities. Lesson 5. Set boundaries with confidence. Establishing boundaries is not just an act of self-care. It is a profound affirmation of your self-worth and autonomy. In a world that often seeks to pull us in multiple directions, the failure to set boundaries can leave us feeling overwhelmed and depleted. The emotional fallout of this neglect fosters a desperate reliance on external validation, as we unconsciously seek acceptance by appeasing those around us. The psychological roots of this behavior are grounded in the fear of disapproval and the innate desire to belong, creating an internal conflict that can be debilitating. Understanding the emotional implications of boundary setting reveals why many people find it so challenging. The fear of upsetting others or being perceived as selfish can stifle their ability to assert themselves. For instance, consider Julia, who consistently takes on extra responsibilities at work, despite feeling overloaded. Each time she is asked for help, she finds herself saying yes to avoid disappointing her colleagues. Initially, she believes she is fostering goodwill, but in the process, Julia neglects her own needs, leading to burnout and resentment. This self-sacrifice ultimately leaves her feeling unappreciated, as her efforts become expected rather than recognized. Many individuals fall into this pattern where their sense of worth is tied to their willingness to please others. Think of Mark, who struggles to say no to social gatherings. Though he often feels drained after evenings spent with acquaintances he doesn't particularly enjoy, he fears that declining invites will make him appear unfriendly. This persistent avoidance of discomfort perpetuates a cycle of resentment and exhaustion for Mark, as his lack of boundaries creates a disconnection from his true preferences and values. The emotional toll of denying his own needs weighs heavily on his sense of self. The underlying issue at play is the psychological conditioning that equates boundary setting with conflict. Many of us have internalized messages from childhood that frame asserting ourselves as inappropriate or rude. As adults, these beliefs carry into our interactions, making it more challenging to establish healthy limits. Research indicates that individuals with weak boundaries are more prone to stress and dissatisfaction, as they struggle to balance personal priorities with external demands. To confront this challenging dynamic, it is essential first to understand that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect rather than a signal of rejection. It acknowledges your right to cultivate personal space and prioritize your well-being. The shift in perspective must begin by recognizing that you are not responsible for the feelings or reactions of others when you assert your boundaries. This realization can be liberating, emboldening you to reclaim your time and energy without guilt. To foster this change, begin by identifying areas in your life where boundaries are lacking. Consider moments when you felt overwhelmed or resentful, and trace those feelings back to instances of not standing up for yourself. By understanding where you struggle, you can proactively address these moments before they escalate into larger issues. Moreover, practice articulating your boundaries in low-stakes situations. Start with friends or family, expressing your needs gently but firmly. Gradually, this exercise will strengthen your ability to set boundaries in more challenging environments. As we move into the next part of our lesson, where we will explore practical strategies for confidently asserting boundaries in various aspects of life, consider how your newfound awareness of self-worth supports this journey. Reflect on past situations where clearer boundaries would have empowered you, and how this can transform your interactions moving forward. Engage with our community by sharing your thoughts, experiences, or insights, liking and subscribing for more transformative content. Your voice is integral to fostering a supportive dialogue around self-improvement. To effectively establish and maintain boundaries, it is vital to recognize behaviors that hinder your ability to assert them. One key strategy is to develop self-awareness regarding your reactions in situations where boundaries are tested. Pay attention to the feelings that arise when you struggle to say no or accommodate others at your expense. Start keeping a journal to document instances where you felt your boundaries were violated or where you compromised your needs. Reflect on the emotions experienced in those moments and the choices made. Psychological studies indicate that self-reflection can highlight patterns of behavior, enabling you to identify triggers that compel you to neglect your boundaries and fostering a pathway toward change. Another essential mindset shift involves reframing your understanding of boundaries as not just limitations, but as expressions of self-respect. It might initially feel uncomfortable or even selfish to assert your needs, but this discomfort is a sign of growth. Acknowledge that setting boundaries can serve to build healthier and more respectful relationships. Consider the experience of Anna, who often felt guilty about refusing requests from friends. After learning about the importance of boundaries, she gradually began to express her limits while understanding that true friendship allows for such honesty. This shift empowered her to create more balanced relationships where her needs were validated and respected. To help instill lasting change, engage in practical exercises that promote boundary-setting skills. One effective method is practicing role-playing scenarios with a trusted friend or mentor. This allows you to rehearse how to articulate your boundaries in a safe environment. For example, simulate a situation where a friend asks for help with a project that you believe will overwhelm you. Practice how you can respectfully say no, while explaining your reasons without over-apologizing or feeling pressured into compliance. Research in behavioral psychology emphasizes that practice not only boosts confidence, but also makes boundary setting feel more natural over time. Additionally, challenge yourself with the small yet powerful exercise of gradually asserting your boundaries in everyday situations. Begin with low-stakes situations, such as choosing where to eat with friends or returning an item at a store. Each time you decide to stand by your preferences, reflect on how that choice impacts your confidence in asserting boundaries in more significant matters. For instance, if you decline an invitation to a social event that you don't enjoy, take pride in that decision and recognize the self-respect it illustrates. Another vital strategy is to incorporate the use of I statements when expressing your boundaries to avoid triggering defensiveness in others. Rather than saying, "You always make me feel overwhelmed," reframe it to, "I feel overwhelmed when I take on too many responsibilities." This shift focuses on your feelings rather than placing blame, fostering healthier communication. Psychologists suggest that this tactic encourages understanding and empathy in conversations about boundaries. As you move forward in your journey toward establishing boundaries, remember that it is a continuous process that requires practice and patience. Each action you take to assert yourself reinforces your right to maintain limits and advocates for your self-worth. As we prepare to transition into the next lesson, where we will explore how to express your truth boldly, consider how cultivating boundaries sets the stage for clear and honest communication. Think about the areas in your life where asserting your voice could enhance your authenticity. Engage with our community by liking the video, sharing your experiences with boundary setting, and subscribing for more insights on the path to self-discovery and empowerment. Your participation can inspire others seeking to learn and grow alongside you. Lesson 6. Express your truth boldly. In a world increasingly marked by curated representations of life, expressing your truth can feel like an act of revolution. Yet, many people find themselves silenced by the fear of judgment and rejection. The psychological roots of this fear stem from a deep-seated need for belonging and acceptance, which often leads individuals to suppress their authentic selves in favor of what is deemed socially acceptable. This clash between authenticity and conformity creates an internal struggle that not only stifles personal expression, but also perpetuates a cycle of seeking validation from external sources. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for anyone yearning to speak their truth. The emotional toll of silencing oneself can be profound, resulting in a sense of emptiness and disconnection. Take the example of Lisa, who has always been passionate about social justice issues. However, in professional settings, she often dilutes her opinions to fit in with colleagues who do not share her views. Each time she holds back, she feels a growing sense of frustration and alienation. Despite being well-informed and passionate, Lisa's desire to conform and avoid conflict leads her to withdraw from meaningful conversations. This internal conflict amplifies feelings of anxiety as she grapples with the emotional consequences of suppressing her identity. People often fall into the trap of incongruence between their inner beliefs and outward expressions, especially in professional or social environments that do not foster openness. Consider Alex, who struggles to share his interests with a group of friends who prioritize different hobbies. To maintain the social bond, he avoids discussing what truly excites him, opting instead to partake in conversations about topics that don't resonate with him. While this compromises his authenticity, Alex becomes increasingly frustrated with himself for failing to voice his true passions. Such scenarios demonstrate how societal pressures can create a dangerous climate that stifles individuality and authentic connection. The psychological repercussions of not expressing your truth can manifest as stress and dissatisfaction in life. Research indicates that individuals who regularly suppress their true selves are more likely to experience anxiety and melancholy. The emotional weight of living inauthentically generates a chasm between who you are and how you present yourself. This very dissonance cultivates a longing for external validation, as individuals turn to others for acknowledgement rather than deriving affirmation from their own voices. To break free from this insidious cycle, it is essential to recognize that expressing your truth, however uncomfortable, is a vital act of self-empowerment. Empowerment arises from acknowledging your right to share your thoughts and feelings without the expectation of universal acceptance. Understanding that not everyone will agree with you is liberating. It opens a pathway to authentic connections with those who appreciate your perspective. Additionally, gaining clarity on your values and beliefs can serve as a solid foundation from which to express your truth confidently. As we explore this lesson further, consider journaling about situations where you held back your true thoughts or feelings. Reflect on the emotions associated with these moments and envision how you would express yourself differently in those scenarios. This exercise can provide insight into the barriers keeping you from speaking your truth boldly. In the next part of this lesson, we will delve into practical strategies designed to empower you to express your truth with confidence. Anticipate how harnessing your authentic voice can reshape your relationships and experiences. Engage with our community by sharing your reflections on the challenges of authenticity, liking the content, and subscribing for more insights into building a fulfilling, empowered life. Your experiences can provide invaluable encouragement to others on similar journeys towards self-discovery. To effectively express your truth boldly, it is crucial first to recognize the behaviors that inhibit authentic self-expression. Start by examining moments in your life when you felt compelled to hold back your thoughts or feelings. This self-reflection can help identify various triggers, be they certain people, environments, or scenarios, that promote a tendency to silence your voice. Keeping a daily journal where you note instances of suppressed feelings can be invaluable. Documenting your experiences provides insight into patterns that emerge and helps you understand the underlying fears driving your behavior. Research in psychology highlights that self-awareness is a foundational step toward meaningful change, granting you the power to confront and transform those instinctual habits. Adopting a mindset of possibility rather than fear is essential for fostering a culture of honest expression. Instead of viewing authentic self-expression as an invitation for judgment, reframe it as an opportunity for connection and understanding. This shift allows you to embrace the idea that your perspectives contribute to a greater dialogue. Consider the inspiring journey of Mia, who, after years of feeling voiceless in meetings, realized that her unique insights were a valuable resource to her colleagues. As she began sharing her thoughts, not only did she gain respect among peers, but she also fostered an environment where others felt encouraged to speak out. This transformation not only empowered Mia, but also created a culture of openness within her workplace. Actionable exercises can help reinforce the commitment to expressing your truth. One effective approach is to practice the 2-minute rule. This technique involves setting aside 2 minutes each day to vocalize a thought or opinion out loud, whether in front of a mirror or during a personal recording. By dedicating this time to expressing your beliefs, even if they are small or trivial, you gradually build comfort with self-expression. This daily practice helps dissolve the fear associated with voicing more significant opinions in real-life situations. Over time, this exercise can cultivate confidence and fortify your ability to communicate assertively. Moreover, seek out supportive environments that encourage authenticity. Surrounding yourself with individuals who value openness can create a safe space for you to express your thoughts. Engage in communities or groups that promote discussion, such as book clubs, support groups, or forums on topics you care about. The psychological principle of social proof suggests that being among people who freely express themselves can embolden you to do the same. For example, when John joined a local writers group, he discovered a nurturing network where members celebrated each other's voices. This experience emboldened him to embrace his own self-expression and authenticity in ways he had never imagined. As you work through these strategies, remember that expressing your truth positively impacts not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Your willingness to be open can inspire others to step into their authenticity as well. As we transition into our next lesson, we will explore how to overcome the fear of judgment, an essential element in embracing your voice and ensuring it is heard. Reflect on past instances where fear held you back from expressing yourself. How might addressing this fear enhance your communication and authenticity moving forward? Remember to engage with our community by liking, subscribing, and sharing your insights about your journey toward expressing your truth. Your reflections can motivate others embarking on their path to authenticity, fostering a sense of shared experience within the community. Lesson 7. Overcome the fear of judgment. The fear of judgment can be a paralyzing force that stifles authenticity and undermines self-expression. In a world dominated by opinions, whether from friends, family, peers, or social media, we are often conditioned to place immense value on how others perceive us. This fear, grounded in a psychological desire for approval and belonging, can prevent individuals from articulating their thoughts or pursuing their desires, leading to a compromised sense of self. The emotional baggage that comes with this fear is heavy, filled with anxiety, insecurity, and a longing for acceptance that can keep us ensnared in a cycle of seeking external validation. Understanding the roots of this fear reveals why it can be so pervasive. Many individuals internalize societal, familial, or cultural expectations, eventually creating a mental narrative that equates their worth with the opinions of others. Consider the story of Daniel, who hesitated to pursue his dream of becoming a musician because he feared the judgment of his family, who valued more conventional career paths. Every time he thought about sharing his music or performing, the nagging voice in his head reminded him of all the critiques and doubts he anticipated receiving. This internal barrage paralyzed his creative spirit, leaving him feeling unfulfilled and trapped in a life dictated by others' expectations. Common scenarios often arise where this fear becomes particularly pronounced. Imagine a person preparing for a presentation at work, suddenly gripped by anxiety as they worry about how colleagues will respond. Every statistic and data point they prepare feels overshadowed by the relentless question, "What will they think of me?" This fear can distort thoughtful actions, reducing self-confidence and eroding the passion behind what is being presented. The pressure manifests as physical symptoms, racing heart, sweaty palms, or shallow breathing, effectively muting one's authentic voice in the process. Moreover, the emotional repercussions of succumbing to the fear of judgment can be profound. Research in social psychology highlights that individuals who frequently seek approval can develop high levels of anxiety and low self-esteem, creating a vicious cycle of self-doubt. The more one craves validation, the more reluctant they become to express their true selves, as the fear of negative feedback looms large. To combat this pervasive fear, it is essential to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing judgment as a reflection of your worth, consider it an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Recognizing that constructive criticism, not everyone's opinion, is valuable, can empower you to break free from the constraints of fear. Furthermore, understanding that judgment is often more about the evaluator's beliefs and emotions than about you can offer solace. For instance, Sarah, who once felt paralyzed by the fear of how others perceived her writing, learned to separate her self-worth from their feedback. This mindset shift allowed her to rediscover her passion and write authentically, resulting in work that resonated deeply with audiences. As you progress in this lesson, reflect on how your fear of judgment has influenced your decisions in both large and small ways. Acknowledging this fear is vital, but transforming it into a stepping stone for growth is even more critical. Embrace the idea that the courage to express yourself can be a powerful antidote to the grip of judgment. In the following part of this lesson, we will explore actionable strategies to help you face and ultimately overcome this fear, empowering you to live authentically. Consider how liberating it would feel to express your ideas bold and unabashedly. Engage with our community by sharing your thoughts, subscribing for more insights, and liking the content. Your journey can inspire others navigating similar fears, building a community of shared vulnerability and strength. To effectively overcome the fear of judgment, it is essential to implement strategies that foster confidence and self-acceptance. Start by cultivating self-awareness around your fear triggers. Journal about situations where you felt judged, noting the circumstances and your emotional responses. This exercise can help you identify patterns in your behavior that reveal when your fear of judgment is most acute. Psychological research underscores the importance of understanding your triggers, as self-awareness is key to managing anxiety and reclaiming your power in those moments. When you articulate your fears on paper, they often lose their power, providing you with clarity and insight. Next, practice reframing your mindset towards the fear of judgment. Instead of viewing it as a deterrent, see it as an opportunity to grow. The realization that judgments are often reflections of others' insecurities can empower you to detach your self-worth from their opinions. For example, Emily, who once feared sharing her artwork because of potential criticism, began to reframe her perspective. She learned to view feedback not as a personal attack, but rather as an opportunity to enhance her skills. This shift allowed her to embrace vulnerability and share her creations with the world confidently. Engaging in incremental exposure can also be a powerful strategy. Gradually exposing yourself to the situations that trigger your fear can desensitize the emotional response associated with judgment. Start small. For example, share a casual opinion in a group discussion or post a simple status update on social media that reflects your true thoughts. Over time, as you experience feedback that is not detrimental, you will begin to diminish the power that fear holds over you. Research finds that repeated exposure to feared situations can lead to a decrease in anxiety over time, allowing you to develop a greater resilience against judgment. Consider adopting the failure framework, a mindset that embraces failure as a natural, valuable part of the learning process. Allow yourself to see mistakes as stepping stones toward mastery rather than reflections of your inadequacy. For instance, Jason, who dreaded public speaking, adopted this framework by viewing each speaking engagement as a chance to learn and improve. Despite initial stumbles, he began sharing his experiences with fellow speakers, fostering an open dialogue about vulnerabilities. This created a supportive environment where everyone felt empowered to improve. By embracing failure, Jason not only alleviated his fear, but also transformed it into a source of motivation. Additionally, surrounding yourself with supportive individuals who foster a culture of acceptance can reinforce your willingness to express your truth. Engage with communities that celebrate individuality and open expression, either online or in person. The power of social support cannot be overstated. It fosters resilience against judgment and encourages candidness. Research has shown that supportive interpersonal relationships can drastically improve self-esteem and facilitate authentic expression. As you implement these strategies, continually remind yourself that the fear of judgment is a universal experience. Understand that even the most accomplished individuals face scrutiny and criticism. Cultivating self-compassion and embracing your authenticity, despite the fear of judgment, will empower you to live more freely and authentically. In our upcoming lesson, we will delve into the importance of stopping comparisons and how to start owning your unique path. Reflect on how the fear of judgment influences your experience compared to others. Consider the significance of nurturing self-acceptance in this journey. Engage with our community by sharing your experiences, liking the content, and subscribing for more valuable insights. Your journey toward authenticity can inspire others to take brave steps in their lives as well. Lesson 8. Stop comparing. Start owning your path. In a society where we are constantly bombarded with images of success and perfection, the impulse to compare ourselves to others can be both overwhelming and damaging. The truth is that stepping off the comparison treadmill is not merely a suggestion. It is a powerful act of self-affirmation and liberation. When we measure our worth against the achievements, appearances, or lifestyles of others, we often rob ourselves of the joy in our own journey. This psychological trap is deeply rooted in our innate desire for validation, as we seek affirmation of our worth through external metrics rather than internal satisfaction. Understanding why we fall into this pattern of comparison can shed light on its emotional implications. At the core, comparisons are often driven by insecurities and a longing to fit in. When individuals perceive others as more successful or accomplished, it can trigger feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Consider the story of Mia, a young professional who left her corporate job to pursue her passion for photography. Each time she scrolled through social media and saw peers posting about their corporate successes, she felt a wave of uncertainty. Instead of celebrating her own victories, like landing her first big client, Mia found herself engulfed in envy and self-pity. This constant comparison not only sapped her motivation, but also clouded her vision of her authentic path. Common scenarios where comparison thrives often emerge in settings designed for social connection, such as family gatherings, professional environments, or social media platforms. In family gatherings, individuals may gauge their accomplishments against siblings or cousins, inadvertently fostering unhealthy rivalries. For example, during a holiday dinner, Sarah felt pressured when her relatives questioned her career choices while praising the supposed successes of her peers. Each compliment thrown her way only amplified her feelings of inadequacy. Such experiences highlight how comparison can poison even the most supportive environments, creating tension and disappointment rather than connection and encouragement. The implications of this comparative mindset extend beyond mere feelings of unworthiness. They can escalate into chronic dissatisfaction, anxiety, and even depression. Psychological research indicates that individuals who frequently engage in social comparison report lower self-esteem and higher rates of mental distress. The constant need for validation through comparison often lends itself to a relentless cycle of comparison, leaving individuals feeling perpetually dissatisfied with their lives. To break free from this cycle, a critical first step is cultivating awareness of your thoughts and habits surrounding comparison. Recognizing when you are slipping into these comparison traps can illuminate the processes behind them. Journaling can be a powerful tool in this regard. Document moments when you find yourself comparing your life to others, noting triggers and emotional reactions. This reflection can help you identify underlying insecurities that fuel your urge to compare. Additionally, fostering a mindset of gratitude can significantly alter your perception. Shifting your focus from what others have achieved to recognizing and celebrating your own strengths and accomplishments can enhance your self-worth. Reflecting daily on your successes, no matter how small, reinforces your unique journey and fosters an appreciation for your path. As you embark on this journey to reclaim your narrative, it is essential to embrace the notion that everyone walks a different path, filled with unique challenges and triumphs. Recognizing that other people's journeys do not diminish your own fosters a culture of self-acceptance and appreciation. In the next part of this lesson, we will explore actionable strategies to further disengage from the comparison trap and encourage you to celebrate your individuality. Reflect on how this shift can transform not just your self-image, but your overall happiness. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your experiences with comparison. Your insights can motivate others who are also seeking to embrace their authentic lives. To effectively stop the behavior of comparison, it is essential to implement strategies that cultivate self-acceptance and highlight the uniqueness of your journey. A powerful first step is to recognize the triggers that prompt your urge to compare yourself to others. Begin by keeping a journal dedicated to this purpose. Each time you find yourself engaging in comparison, jot down the specific situation that led to these feelings, along with the emotions it stirred. Over time, this record will reveal patterns in your thoughts and behaviors. Research indicates that self-observation fosters awareness, which is the key to change. Recognizing when and why you feel compelled to compare will empower you to interrupt the cycle and redirect your focus. Next, it is critical to shift your mindset toward embracing your individuality. Challenge the notion that success looks the same for everyone. Create a personal definition of success based on your values and passions rather than societal standards. Consider the story of Aaron, who was constantly comparing himself to friends who had achieved traditional markers of success. He felt inadequate for not having a high-paying job. However, through self-reflection, he realized that his fulfillment stemmed from pursuing creative endeavors and nurturing relationships rather than climbing the corporate ladder. This realization shifted his mindset, allowing him to appreciate his path and passions fully. Engaging in gratitude practices can bolster this mindset shift. Each day, make a list of 3 things you appreciate about your life or accomplishments. This exercise not only fosters positivity, but also anchors your focus on your journey rather than someone else's. The psychological benefits of gratitude have been well documented. Studies show that it can increase levels of happiness and decrease feelings of depression. Regularly practicing gratitude can create a strong foundation for self-acceptance. In addition to these mindset shifts, it is essential to cultivate supportive environments that celebrate individuality and non-comparison. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and foster a culture of authenticity. Join groups or communities that align with your interests, where members support one another's journeys. For example, Sarah joined a local art collective where artists shared their experiences openly without judgment. In this nurturing space, she felt empowered to explore her own artistic style rather than conform to trends set by others. This community became a source of encouragement, reinforcing her commitment to her unique path. Furthermore, consider the practice of social media detoxing. Social media can be a double-edged sword. While it connects us, it can also perpetuate unhealthy comparisons. Take breaks from platforms that trigger your comparison tendencies. Use this time to engage in activities that promote well-being and self-discovery. Whether it's reading, fitness, or spending time in nature, fill your days with experiences that reignite your appreciation for your own life. As you implement these strategies, remember that the journey to stop comparing yourself to others is ongoing. It requires patience and persistence, but each step taken toward embracing your individuality is a step toward a more fulfilling and authentic life. In our upcoming lesson, we will explore the transformative power of aligning your actions with your values and how doing so can deepen your sense of self-worth and satisfaction. Reflect on how embracing your unique path sets the stage for greater alignment with your values. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts or insights about navigating the challenges of comparison. Your experiences can resonate with others and foster a sense of belonging among those on a similar journey. Lesson 9. Align your actions with your values. Living authentically means ensuring that your actions reflect your core values. Yet many individuals find themselves drifting away from their beliefs in pursuit of acceptance or approval. This dissonance can lead to a sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction as you navigate life on autopilot, trying to please others instead of being true to yourself. The psychological roots of this behavior often stem from a fear of rejection, societal expectations, or the desire for validation. When we prioritize the approval of others above our values, the result is a profound disconnect between who we are and how we live, creating internal turmoil. Understanding the emotional implications of failing to align actions with values is crucial. For instance, consider the experience of Mike, who works in a corporate job that pays well but is misaligned with his passion for social justice. Each day, he heads to the office, performing tasks that he feels do not contribute to the greater good. While he receives praise for his productivity and dedication, he is left feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from his true self. This conflict between his values and actions breeds anxiety and a sense of discontent, illustrating how relentless pursuit of external validation can compromise one's core beliefs. Common scenarios illustrating this disconnect often occur in the workplace or social settings. Take the case of Lisa, who tends to agree with her colleagues, following their lead instead of expressing her own viewpoints during meetings. While Lisa's desire to maintain harmony in her workplace is commendable, she often suppresses her ideas and contributions, which could lead to innovative solutions. Over time, this incongruence erodes her self-confidence, making her feel like an outsider in her own environment. Realizing that her reluctance to voice her opinions compromises her authenticity highlights the emotional toll of living inauthentically. The effects of misalignment between values and actions can be deeply detrimental. Research indicates that individuals who fail to live in concord with their core beliefs often experience decreased life satisfaction and increased levels of stress. This disconnect can create a sense of imposter syndrome, where individuals feel as though they are living a life dictated by expectations that are not their own, leading to downward spirals of anxiety and discontent. To begin aligning your actions with your values, start with self-reflection. Spend time identifying your core beliefs and what truly matters to you. Consider creating a list of your top values, such as integrity, creativity, compassion, or adventure, and reflect on how your current actions align with these principles. This exercise can illuminate areas of your life where you are living authentically and areas that require adjustment. For example, if adventure is a core value for you, but your current routine lacks spontaneity, it may be time to incorporate activities that offer new experiences. Furthermore, envision how reinforcing your values in daily choices could enhance your sense of fulfillment. Developing a clear understanding of your values enables you to make decisions that resonate with your true self, guiding you toward actions that are in alignment with who you are. Reflect on moments when you felt satisfied or proud of your actions. These instances often reveal alignment between your choices and your values. As you move forward in this lesson, understand that living authentically requires ongoing commitment and courage to express who you are. Developing a plan to integrate your core values into your daily life will create a powerful shift in your overall sense of well-being and authenticity. In our next session, we will explore how releasing the need to fit in can empower you to live more freely and authentically. Reflect on ways you may have compromised your values for acceptance. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your insights and experiences about aligning your actions with your values. Your stories can inspire others on their paths to authenticity. To effectively align your actions with your values, it is crucial to implement strategies that foster conscious decision-making and remove the barriers that keep you from living authentically. Start by enhancing your self-awareness. create a personal values assessment by writing down your core values and reflecting on how often your daily actions align with these principles. This exercise sheds light on areas where you may be compromising your beliefs for external approval. As studies in psychology suggest, increased self-awareness directly correlates with emotional intelligence, allowing individuals to make choices that support their intrinsic values. Once you have a clear understanding of your values, it is vital to shift your mindset regarding the relationship between your actions and these guiding principles. Instead of viewing your values as abstract ideals that are occasionally acted upon, start to see them as essential frameworks for decision-making. This perspective encourages you to examine situations critically. Ask yourself, does this action reflect my values? Whenever you find yourself in a dilemma, returning to this question can guide you towards choices that resonate with who you truly are. Consider the story of Clara, who embraced this perspective after realizing she often chose paths that pleased others rather than herself. By consistently evaluating her options against her values, she began to confidently pursue interests that genuinely fulfilled her, such as participating in community service. Engaging in actionable exercises can further reinforce your commitment to living in alignment with your values. One powerful method is to envision your future self. Take time to visualize where you want to be in 5 or 10 years, considering the values that are most significant to you. Write a letter from your future self, explaining how living according to your values has transformed your life. This exercise not only serves as a motivator, but also clarifies what is essential for your long-term happiness. Studies show that visualization techniques can enhance motivation and commitment to goals, making it an effective tool in your journey toward authenticity. Additionally, create a daily practice of affirmations that connect your values to your actions. For instance, if compassion is a core value, an affirmation might read, "I choose to act with kindness and empathy in all my interactions." Reciting these affirmations regularly instills a sense of purpose and reinforces your commitment to living in harmony with your values. Psychological research highlights that using positive affirmations can significantly improve self-concept and inspire behavioral change. To further support this transition, consider the importance of accountability. Share your values and goals with a trusted friend or mentor who can provide guidance and help you stay committed to your path. Discuss the challenges you face in maintaining alignment, and seek feedback on how you can better integrate your values into daily life. This collaborative approach not only strengthens your resolve, but fosters a sense of community and support. As you work toward aligning your actions with your values, remember that this journey is a continuous process requiring patience and determination. Each choice you make that reflects your values serves as a step toward greater fulfillment and authenticity. In our next lesson, we will explore the liberating concept of releasing the need to fit in, enabling you to embrace your true self fully. Reflect on how successfully aligning your actions with your values sets the stage for authentic living. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your journey with aligning your values and actions. Your insights and experiences can empower others to embark on their path to authenticity. Lesson 10. Release the need to fit in. In a world that often equates conformity with acceptance, the journey toward self-discovery requires a courageous step, releasing the need to fit in. For many, the instinct to blend in and seek approval from peers can overwhelm their own identity, leading to an existence defined by external expectations rather than authentic self-expression. This deep-seated desire for validation stems from psychological and emotional factors rooted in our early experiences, particularly the fundamental human need for belonging. The drive for acceptance often compels individuals to conform, which can ultimately compromise their true selves and lead to feelings of frustration and disconnection. Understanding the emotional cost of the need to fit in is crucial for recognizing this behavior. When we prioritize external acceptance over our authenticity, we risk alienating ourselves from our values, passions, and inherent worth. Consider the example of Rachel, a college student who joined a popular social group that thrived on exclusivity and status. While she initially felt excited to fit in, The constant pressure to adopt their interests and perspectives left her feeling unfulfilled and anxious. As she silenced her own preferences to accommodate her peers, Rachel found herself physically present in social gatherings, but emotionally detached, longing for meaningful connections that reflected her true self. This internal conflict exemplifies the toll of compromising authenticity in the name of belonging. Common scenarios that illustrate this struggle often arise in educational, professional, and social settings. For instance, in a workplace where high-achieving individuals thrive, one may feel compelled to match their colleagues' relentless pursuit of success. Tom, an office worker, began neglecting his well-being and personal interests to gain approval from his peers. His late nights at the office garnered praise, but at the cost of his mental health and life satisfaction. Each time he chose conformity over his own values, Tom felt a growing sense of dissatisfaction, illustrating how the need to fit in can breed anxiety and resentment. The implications of clinging to the need for acceptance extend beyond mere discomfort. They manifest as stress, dissatisfaction, and the erosion of self-esteem. Research in social psychology emphasizes that chronic conformity can lead to a diminished sense of personal identity and autonomy. When we adopt behaviors solely to please others, we become puppets in our own lives, disconnected from our authentic selves, leading to emotional distress and dissatisfaction. To begin the process of releasing the need to fit in, an essential first step is to cultivate self-awareness. Start by examining the areas in your life where you feel pressure to conform. Reflect on situations where you have compromised your preferences to seek approval. This introspection can illuminate patterns of behavior that inhibit your authenticity and reinforce the disconnect between who you truly are and who you present to the world. Additionally, practice embracing your individuality in small, tangible ways. Begin by identifying one aspect of your personality or interests that you have suppressed in favor of fitting in. Make a conscious decision to share it, whether that means speaking up about your favorite hobby, dressing in a way that reflects your personal style, or participating in conversations with a unique perspective. Start a conversation about your passions, metrics of success, or interests that may differ from your social group. By stepping into your authenticity, you create a ripple effect that encourages others to do the same. As we transition into the next part of this lesson, consider how freeing it would be to release the shackles of conformity and fully embrace your true self. Reflect on your personal journey toward authenticity and the steps you are willing to take to celebrate who you are. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your experiences of stepping away from the need to fit in. Your stories can inspire others to embark on their paths toward self-discovery and authenticity. To effectively release the need to fit in, it is imperative to employ strategies that encourage authenticity and foster self-acceptance. The first step is to cultivate heightened self-awareness. Start by regularly reflecting on your feelings and thoughts in social situations. Keep a journal where you record instances when you felt the pressure to conform. Note your emotional response in these moments, as well as the actions you chose to take. This practice can help you become more attuned to the disconnect between your true self and the persona you adopt for acceptance. Research indicates that self-reflection plays a critical role in fostering personal growth and can empower you to challenge societal norms that don't align with your values. A crucial mindset shift is to view your uniqueness as a strength rather than a weakness. Embrace the concept that authenticity attracts genuine connections. Rather than fearing judgment, consider that by being yourself, you invite others who resonate with your true self. This paradigm shift can help reduce anxiety associated with social interactions. Take the story of Maya, who always felt pressured to blend in at her university. After making the conscious decision to express her unique style and interests, she quickly discovered a community of individuals who appreciated her for who she truly was, leading to deeper friendships and a much stronger sense of belonging. Engaging in practical exercises can further solidify your commitment to authenticity. Start by identifying 3 core aspects of your identity that you have previously downplayed or concealed. These could be interests, values, or characteristics that make you unique. Make a plan to express these aspects in your daily life. For example, if you are passionate about a niche hobby, share it with a friend or find local groups that align with your interests. As you step out of your comfort zone, you will gradually build confidence and realize that your individuality is something to be celebrated, not hidden. Another effective strategy is to practice radical self-acceptance. Acknowledge that it's okay not to fit into every group or social norm. This can be challenging, but developing self-compassion is crucial. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend facing similar struggles. Remind yourself that everyone has insecurities, and that embracing your true self is what creates meaningful relationships. Psychological studies support the idea that self-compassion leads to greater emotional resilience and can buffer against the negative feelings associated with comparison and the need for acceptance. Additionally, surround yourself with supportive individuals who encourage you to express your true self. Seek out friends or communities that value authenticity over conformity. Engaging with people who celebrate diversity in opinions and lifestyles will provide an enabling environment for you to flourish. The experience of Jonathan, who felt liberated after joining a creative writing group, exemplifies this. By surrounding himself with individuals who valued originality, he found the courage to write stories that truly reflected his thoughts and emotions. As you work through these strategies, remember that releasing the need to fit in is an ongoing journey. It involves continuous self-examination and the willingness to embrace discomfort as you express your authentic self. As we transition into the next lesson, we will explore how to cultivate self-love and inner strength, both essential in maintaining your authenticity as you face societal pressures. Reflect on how embracing your uniqueness can reinforce your journey towards self-acceptance. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your experiences of releasing the need to fit in. Your insights can empower others seeking the courage to be their true selves in an often conformist world. Lesson 11. Cultivate self-love and inner strength. At the heart of overcoming insecurity and cultivating authenticity lies a profound truth. Self-love is not a luxury, it is a necessity. In a world that often promotes external validation as a measure of worth, learning to love oneself unapologetically can feel like an insurmountable challenge. Many individuals grapple with the emotional weight of comparison and the pressure to conform, leading to a conditional form of self-acceptance that waxes and wanes based on feedback from others. This reliance on outside affirmation can cripple personal growth and hinder emotional resilience, creating a vicious cycle of self-doubt and disconnection from one's true essence. To understand the emotional roots of this issue, it's important to acknowledge that many people internalize societal standards of beauty, success, and behavior, which creates unrealistic benchmarks for self-worth. Consider the experience of Emma, who spent years measuring her value against the seemingly perfect lives showcased by her peers on social media. Every like or comment felt like validation, while every perceived slight left her feeling unworthy and invisible. This constant comparison eroded her sense of self, reinforcing the belief that her value depended on others' approval. Emma's story illustrates the detrimental effects of seeking validation externally, rather than fostering a loving relationship with oneself. Common scenarios often arise where individuals confine their self-worth to external metrics. Take the example of David, who, despite being an accomplished musician, frequently sought validation by obsessively checking streaming numbers and social media comments. When he received positive feedback, his spirits lifted momentarily, but negative feedback led to a deep spiral of self-criticism, undermining his confidence and passion. This behavior not only detracted from his love for music, but also perpetuated a toxic cycle where self-love became conditional and fragile. The emotional toll of relying on others for self-affirmation can be profound, leaving individuals feeling empty and disconnected from their passions. Encouragingly, cultivating self-love can transform the way you navigate life's challenges and boost your innate inner strength. This journey begins with self-awareness and self-compassion. A critical strategy is to practice mindfulness and engage in self-reflective exercises. Journaling can be an effective tool in this regard, Take time to write about your strengths, achievements, and moments that made you proud. Acknowledging even the smallest victories can help you build a more positive self-image and reinforce your inherent worth. Mindset shifts are crucial for nurturing self-love. It is essential to replace negative self-talk with affirmations that celebrate your uniqueness. When thoughts of inadequacy arise, consciously challenge them with affirming statements such as, "I am enough as I am," or "My worth is not defined by others." Research indicates that utilizing positive affirmations can significantly enhance self-esteem and foster resilience. Over time, affirming your self-worth can transform your internal dialogue, leading to greater self-acceptance and emotional empowerment. Additionally, seek activities that reinforce self-love. Engage in practices that nurture your physical and emotional well-being, whether through exercise, creative pursuits, or connecting with nature. Each time you invest in yourself, you strengthen the message that your needs and feelings are valid and worthy of care. For instance, Lara discovered that participating in yoga not only calmed her mind, but also helped her appreciate her body and its capabilities, fostering a deeper sense of self-love and inner strength. As we prepare to explore further strategies to cultivate self-love and inner strength in the next part of this lesson, consider how nurturing these qualities can empower you to break free from the chains of external validation. Reflect on the ways you can prioritize your well-being today. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts or personal experiences regarding self-love. Your stories can inspire others on their journeys toward embracing their authentic selves. To cultivate self-love and inner strength effectively, it is essential to recognize behaviors that inhibit these qualities. Start by identifying negative thought patterns that arise in moments of self-doubt. Maintaining a thought journal can be pivotal in this process. Each time you experience feelings of inadequacy, write down the specific thoughts you encounter and the situations that triggered them. This exercise will help you pinpoint patterns in your self-talk and identify the obstacles preventing you from embracing self-love. Psychological research emphasizes the importance of self-awareness as the first step toward meaningful change, enabling you to confront and challenge internalized beliefs that diminish your self-worth. Next, consider shifting your perspective on vulnerability. Many individuals perceive vulnerability as a weakness. However, it is an inherent part of the human experience and a cornerstone of resilience. Embracing vulnerability can create a strong foundation for building self-love. A powerful mindset shift is to acknowledge that imperfection is not only acceptable but also an essential aspect of being human. For instance, reflect on the story of Vanessa, who struggled with perfectionism her entire life. After attending personal development workshops, she learned to embrace her flaws and share her experiences openly. This vulnerability not only strengthened her relationships, but also fostered self-acceptance, allowing her to feel more in tune with her true self. Incorporating daily affirmations into your routine can be an effective strategy for fostering self-love. Commit to reciting positive affirmations that resonate with you, such as, "I am deserving of love and respect," or "I embrace my unique qualities." Research in psychology shows that affirmations can combat negative self-perception and enhance self-efficacy. By practicing these affirmations regularly, you reinforce a narrative of self-worth that counters the tendency to seek validation externally. Another impactful exercise is to establish a self-care routine that honors your emotional and physical needs. This could involve mindfulness practices such as meditation or yoga, which foster self-connection and awareness. Engage in activities that you genuinely enjoy, whether it's painting, hiking, or reading. By consistently dedicating time to nurture your passions, you send a powerful message to yourself that your well-being is a priority. Consider the experience of Daniel, who after facing burnout in his corporate job, reclaimed his love for photography by scheduling regular shoots each week. This self-care practice not only enhanced his creativity, but also reignited his sense of purpose and self-worth. Additionally, seek relationships and communities that support your journey towards self-love. Surrounding yourself with individuals who encourage authenticity can reinforce your sense of belonging and empower you to embrace your true self. Engaging in conversations that prioritize support and understanding cultivates an environment where self-love flourishes. As observed in studies on social support, positive interactions significantly contribute to emotional well-being and resilience. As you work through these strategies, keep in mind that cultivating self-love and inner strength is an ongoing process that requires patience and dedication. The journey toward self-acceptance invites you to challenge ingrained beliefs and reshape your narrative, ultimately empowering you to thrive. As we prepare for the next lesson, which will focus on living your authentic truth daily, consider how embodying self-love and inner strength can influence your interactions with the world. Reflect on the ways you can integrate these principles into your daily life, creating a foundation rooted in authenticity and self-acceptance. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your insights on self-love. Your contributions can inspire others as they embark on their journeys toward embracing their authentic selves. Lesson 12. Live your authentic truth daily. The journey toward authenticity culminates in a powerful realization. Living your truth is not just an occasional act, it is a daily commitment. Cultivating an authentic life involves aligning your actions, choices, and relationships with your deeply held values, and this requires persistent effort and dedication. The psychological need for validation often undermines this process, leading individuals to prioritize external approval over their own desires and convictions. When we rely on others to define our worth, we rob ourselves of the freedom and fulfillment that come with truly being ourselves. Understanding the emotional underpinnings of this tendency reveals why it is so difficult to break free from seeking validation. Many individuals have internalized the belief that they must prove their worth through the opinions of others, often stemming from societal pressures, cultural norms, or familial expectations. Take, for instance, the story of James, who for years conformed to what he believed were societal expectations regarding his career. Although he secured a prestigious position, he often felt drained and unfulfilled. The accolades and praise he received from others provided fleeting satisfaction, but they paled in comparison to the yearning he felt for a career that resonated with his passions. This internal struggle created an ongoing cycle of dissatisfaction, highlighting the emotional toll of not living authentically. Common scenarios where the need for validation manifests include social interactions, career decisions, and personal relationships. Many people find themselves molding their identities to fit into specific groups or environments. For example, Mia often adjusted her opinions based on what her friends valued, fearing rejection if she expressed a differing viewpoint. While she maintained friendships, she felt increasingly disconnected from her own beliefs and desires. Over time, this fear of judgment kept Mia from engaging in conversations about her true passions and interests, leading her to feel trapped in an image that did not reflect her authentic self. The implications of living a life for the approval of others can lead to chronic dissatisfaction and diminished self-worth. Research shows that people who suppress their authentic selves experience heightened levels of anxiety, depression, and feelings of isolation. This fear of not fitting in becomes an emotional prison, preventing you from experiencing the joy of being who you truly are. To begin living your authentic truth daily, the first step is cultivating self-awareness. Regularly take time to reflect on your feelings and decisions, ensuring that they align with your values. This could involve journaling about your day-to-day experiences and assessing which moments felt most genuine. Acknowledging the instances when you compromised your authenticity can help you identify patterns and areas for growth. As you gain clarity, remember that authenticity requires vulnerability. Embracing imperfections and acknowledging that you are a work in progress can be liberating. Another essential practice is to set boundaries that protect your authentic self. Learn to articulate your needs and values in a way that honors who you are. For example, if you face pressure to conform in social situations, practice assertively expressing your preferences. The story of Laura illustrates this transformation. Once unable to decline invitations to events that drained her energy, she began to prioritize her well-being by saying no to gatherings that didn't serve her. Establishing these boundaries empowered her to create space for relationships and activities aligned with her true self. As you commit to living authentically, surrounding yourself with supportive individuals who encourage and celebrate your individuality can create a flourishing environment for your growth. Seek out friends, mentors, or communities that uplift you and embrace authenticity as a central value. In the next part of this lesson, we will explore actionable steps for sustaining this commitment to authenticity and navigating the challenges you may encounter along the way. Reflect on ways you can integrate authenticity into your daily life, cultivating a sense of agency and fulfillment. Engage with our community by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing your journey of embracing your authentic truth. Your experiences can motivate others who are also seeking to live genuinely in a world that often promotes conformity. To effectively live your authentic truth daily, it is crucial to implement strategies that foster consistency and resilience in this endeavor. Begin by recognizing the behaviors that lead you to stray from your authentic self. One effective method is to maintain a daily reflection journal where you document your thoughts, feelings, and experiences regarding authenticity. Each evening, spend a few moments reflecting on your day and identifying instances where you felt true to yourself versus moments where you compromised your values for the sake of fitting in. This practice enhances self-awareness and allows you to track patterns in your behavior over time. Psychological research supports the notion that self-reflection enhances personal growth and can empower you to make more deliberate choices aligned with your values. In addition to maintaining a journal, adopting a mindset shift that embraces imperfection is critical. Recognize that no one is flawless, and the pursuit of perfection can hinder your ability to live authentically. Instead of focusing on what you perceive to be shortcomings, celebrate your unique qualities and experiences. Consider the journey of Sam, who long struggled with self-acceptance due to his tendency to compare himself with others. By reframing his focus from striving for perfection to recognizing his unique journey, Sam learned to embrace his quirks and strengths. He began to share his creative projects without fear of judgment, allowing him to connect more deeply with others who appreciated his authenticity. It is also essential to engage in actionable exercises that reinforce your commitment to authenticity. One effective practice is to identify and incorporate daily affirmations that remind you to stay true to yourself. Create specific statements that resonate with you, such as, "I am worthy of expressing my true self," or "I embrace my unique journey." Repeating these affirmations can help recalibrate your mindset and reinforce your commitment to living authentically. Psychological studies have shown that positive affirmations activate areas of the brain associated with self-acceptance, allowing you to cultivate a healthier self-image. Another necessary strategy is to actively seek out environments that foster authenticity and self-expression. Surround yourself with individuals who appreciate and encourage genuine interactions. Engage in communities or groups that align with your interests and values. For instance, if you are passionate about environmental issues, consider joining a local advocacy group. By connecting with like-minded individuals, you create a support network that uplifts your authentic self. The story of Alex illustrates this point. After isolating himself due to fear of judgment, he took a bold step to join a weekly discussion group focused on personal growth. This community not only provided him with encouragement, but also reinforced his commitment to authenticity. Moreover, practice setting clear boundaries that allow you to prioritize your well-being. When faced with situations that threaten your authenticity, whether social pressures or demanding obligations, learn to assertively communicate your needs. By standing firm in your values, you establish a sense of agency that bolsters your self-esteem and enhances your emotional resilience. Remember that establishing boundaries is an act of self-love, enabling you to create a life aligned with your true self. As you incorporate these strategies into your daily life, understand that living authentically is a continuous journey. Each step you take toward embracing your true self fortifies your sense of purpose and belonging. Creating a life rooted in authenticity not only empowers you, but also inspires those around you to pursue their true selves. Engaging with these practices will facilitate a meaningful transformation, allowing you to experience the profound fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with your values and beliefs. In conclusion, this journey toward authenticity has guided you through the essential steps of self-discovery and empowerment. From embracing your true identity to silencing the inner critic, each lesson has reinforced the importance of living authentically and aligning your actions with your core values. By releasing the need for external validation and cultivating self-love, you have laid a strong foundation for a fulfilling life. The insights shared throughout this book provide you with practical tools and mindset shifts to navigate the complexities of societal expectations and personal insecurities. Remember, authenticity is not a destination, but an ongoing journey that requires commitment, courage, and kindness to yourself. Thank you for dedicating your time to explore these transformative concepts. Your engagement, whether through liking, commenting, or subscribing, helps us create a supportive community where everyone can thrive on their path to authenticity. We truly appreciate your presence and encourage you to reflect on these teachings as you continue to embrace your unique self. Together, we can foster an environment where authenticity flourishes, inspiring one another to live boldly and unapologetically.